From struggle to happiness. This is the new episode of Sip of Coaching. Hello, Susanne.
Hi, Alessandro. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm very great. And I feel this subject very inspiring because I believe, like you, we all uh, lived a period where we struggled a lot and we tried so deeply to find happiness. So I totally believe that it can be very useful for a lot of people.
I definitely do as well. And where are you at right now? Are you still struggling or are you already happy?
At the moment, I feel that I am in peace. Not struggling, not happy, but in peace. I mean, I'm very far away from the kind of life that I dreamed long time ago. I dream totally different life. But and probably now I'm hitting less goals than what I thought in the beginning. But you know what? I feel that I'm happy because I know that I can survive. I can overcome all the challenges that I can face right now. So this is my happiness now. What about
Well,
you?
I would say right now I'm struggling a bit, to be honest. Um, but I embrace it. I see it as a really good source. Um, and yeah, right now I'm like at the verge of a quite big change in my work life, and everything is new, and I'm kind of figuring out where I want to go work wise because my last job ended, and I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, shit, this is uncomfortable, and I'm like trying to understand, but I see it as as a really good source for me. It has been helpful, and it made me move. So in a sense, I think that, and there we are already in the middle of the topic, right? I mean, what is struggling about, and what's all the sense of it? And for me, I don't like it. Sometimes I'm like, come on, now I want to get over it. I mean, you know me, I'm like super impatient,
Mhm.
but that's just how it is. I mean, um, yeah, there was just, I mean, this was also not something I chose right exactly right now. I mean, I got fired, so that was definitely something very surprising, but I see the upside right now because it makes me reflect a lot on what I truly want, where I want to go, where my strengths are, and so on. So it kind of started off a really nice personal development process for me.
It's interesting because you already touched like 100 points and I have so many questions. I wanted to ask you so many stuff about what you said, but I will start with one point because you mentioned your struggle and you connected with your job. And
Yeah.
interesting how we feel often that our struggle is an external factor. It's something that comes from outside, but actually, in fact, our inside. Is it?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I would say it's probably a mixture, right? Because I think one thing are the external factors that are happening in our life, like I don't know, a person dies, somebody moves away, a friend is leaving, a partnership is ending. So these external events that are just massive changes, and every change requires us to adapt in a certain way. I mean, I'm coming from change management, so this is quite a natural human process that you go through a so-called change curve, that you first start with denial and you're angry and then you're sad, and then at some point you start to accept it. So, and then you develop new solutions. So in a certain way, I would say yes. It's a mixture, but for sure internally it's the same, right? I could say wow, this is like the biggest chance of my life to just create something new right now in my example, right? Or I can say, shit, whoa, this will just, I don't know, make me drown. I will be poor. I can create scenarios, and these thoughts will also make me feel in a certain way. I mean, this will have consequences. When I think, wow, this will be awesome, and I will just create a crazy cool new life, I will be excited. I will be, wow, wow, wow. And when I think I will be poor, this will be horrible, and so on. I mean, how will I feel? I will feel, oh shit, this is I would just be frustrated, sad, and depressed probably.
This is a point that I saw also in my life, and I consider that very often we give value to stuff that are external, how you said, like
Yeah.
our job, monies, everything like that we can replace, and we undervalue everything that is inside our peace, our health, our mindset. And I saw two different kind of struggles. Very often I can struggle from external aspects, very often. But the toughest, it's when it's something internal, when you feel something that doesn't work inside yourself, and you feel like, okay, this is something with myself, with my values, with who I am. And here is the moment that you are hit the most. And it's the moment that you are on the ground, and it's very hard to wake up and stand up again. And it's very difficult. And here I can also relate to what you said at the beginning, because it was interesting. You said, you know what, it's positive in life to have struggles, because I can learn a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just in this moment, when you're struggling for internal factors, that you learn the most, and you have a just like a massive life-changing.
Yeah.
Think.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think in a certain way, struggles are, for me, struggles are like saying, you know what, now I push you out of your comfort zone, go learn. This is like what struggles for me are. This is like, for sure, this is uncomfortable, because like, I didn't want this situation. Now you get it. Now grow. It's your task. Please have fun with it. Go with it.
Face it, and you can, like, you have to do it. It's time.
Yeah, it's time to do it.
It's when we delay the process of growing that we start to have more struggles. This is my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Because like, yeah, and that's I think also the same with every pattern we have in life, right? I think every struggle comes back until we face it and we solve it. And I mean, this also has been it has been the same for me. It's funny like that now also that work life topic is coming back to me, because to be honest, it has been a struggle for me a couple of times. And now I finally actually understand why. And it also relates back to what you said. I think especially in the workplace, I tried to be somebody else. I tried to push myself so hard into my own expectations, who I thought I should be, and just denying my true nature and denying what I truly need. I know personally now, I can say honestly, I'm not the most stress resistant person. But I pushed myself into fast paced, stressful environments. And I also know I hate organizing stuff. Honestly, I really don't like it. And I pushed myself into jobs that were, wow, so heavily loaded with organizational stuff. And I was like, I was tense the whole time, but that tension and this insatisfaction came from the fact that I was living through my expectations and I was not really living through my being, not like just accepting, well, you know what, this is not for me, it's okay, I move on.
It was your expectation or somebody else's expectation?
This is this is a big question. I think in a certain way, I learned from my environment in the past, can be childhood, can be, I don't know, I don't even know where it actually really started, but at some point I learned that to receive recognition, I need to adapt. Mm-hmm. So I think this was a pattern that I had kind of all across life, that I was like, oh, I need to be somebody else so everybody likes me. Mm-hmm. And so I think in the past, at some point, it was more like an external pattern, because also at school, I mean, I don't know, teachers liked you when you had good grades, when you were good at stuff, and they were like, come on, you need to be better at math or physics. And I was like, I just sucked at physics. I was like, I tried, and this was like pure magic to me, but I never understood. And I felt like, okay, I need to push more. I need to push more in order to get good grades and in order to fit in a certain way, instead of just saying, you know what, I'm not good at this. And it's okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's something different when you really say, but I really would like to understand it and I choose to make an extra effort. But just, I think what I did, I really pushed it way too hard to say, I need to learn this, I need to know this, so people like me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if we can also say that struggle come from denying who we are to please somebody else.
Yes. I don't, yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, that definitely was the case. I mean, what were other sources of struggle for you?
I think that the main one was this reason. Yeah. Because in the moment that I decided to not be myself, I started to act in a way that wasn't aligned with myself. And with this attitude, I was all the time not reaching the standard that I put to myself or the people wanted that I have. Of course, because it wasn't me. I was trying to be somebody else, somebody totally different. And this one was so painful because I never could exit this circle. Like, I want to please somebody. To please them, I need to have this standard. To have this standard, I need to behave in this way. But to behave in this way, I need to be this kind of person. But I'm not this kind of person. And so the circle was all the time never ending. And it
like
was
a circle of constant self-denial in a circle, in a certain way, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I believe that in the moment that they start to stop giving a fuck about the other people's opinion and start to think about who I am, who I truly am, it becomes everything more, become easier. And I start to be like an easy, not easy life, but easier to please myself and stop to do something for somebody else, because we try all the time to make other people happy, but not make us happy. Yeah,
it's true. I think just as we were talking right now, I also had another source of struggle in mind. I realized also that, and sometimes I still do it, I have to be honest, that especially in the past, I was looking a lot at what was missing in my life. And that was also a pattern that I made myself constantly struggle with that. Why? What did that mean for me? It meant, for example, during a day, at the end of the day, I was, instead of saying, wow, cool, you did your best, you progressed on this and this and this, I was like, but you could have done more, and this is still missing. Like maybe I had done like 10 tasks on my list, on my to-do list, 2 tasks I hadn't done, but the only thing I focused on were the 2 tasks that were still missing. That was a pattern that really went kind of through my whole life. I was like, okay, so I've done this, I don't know, like coaching certification, therapeutical certification, I studied psychology and so on. But sure, this is enough? Shouldn't I do more? Shouldn't I, instead of saying, wow, like the way like that I took already and all the knowledge that I have, it's great. Instead of like just appreciating that I have this knowledge, I was like, shouldn't I do more? Isn't there, it was never enough for me. It was always, I needed to have more and this more, instead of just taking the time to say, wow, this is great.
And what helps you in this moment? Like, what is the strategy to help you to exit this mindset?
Gratefulness,
Mm-hmm.
gratitude exercises, actually, like really, especially when sometimes I really, when I have, I mean, bad days, like this doesn't exist. I mean, you make your day good or bad anyways, but when I just have a day and I wake up, I already feel, I don't know, like this mood of, I know this day I will focus massively on gratitude. What does that mean? Even for the smallest thing, like I start my day and then I say, wow, cool, I meditated my 15 minutes. Thank you. I do my breakfast and I say, cool, you did a healthy breakfast for yourself. Thank you. So I push myself quite massively in the other direction. And this has helped me a lot, like really saying, okay, thank you. Everything that I'm doing in the day, just saying thank you, appreciating it.
I suffer the same as you, like lack of gratitude for a long time.
Yeah.
And this one brought me to a very dead path, because you never exit, because when you're not grateful, you start to see really everything negative, everything. Whatever you do, you can also become the president of the country, and but you know, I could be God, and it's never enough. And I start to do the same as you. I think that the gratitude exercise, it's one of the most powerful exercise that we can do. In fact, I start to do 3 times a day, like during the meditation, then the morning, like writing a list of things that I'm grateful, and also before sleeping, like just the minute before sleeping, I close my eyes and I say, okay, you know what? I'm grateful for this one, that one during the day, because it helps us a lot to focus on what is good in life. It's the same when I always do this example. If I want to buy a new car and I want a red car, I invent a red Peugeot. And so I have this one in my mind. The next days, I always see just red cars or Peugeot or red Peugeot.
Yes.
It's so impressive how our focus goes in this way. And it's the same with positive or negative attitude. If I continue to have negative thought, I will always find whatever is negative in life. And the same with positive.
Yes. And I think also this took me a really long time to understand the importance. And I think, yeah, as you say, right, in the end, it's a choice to say, because they're just the two extremes in a certain way, right? You either always look at what's missing. So this is the muscle that you just strengthen. You say, okay, but I'm still missing this. It's a pattern. Or you use the other pattern saying, this is enough. This is great. This is cool. This is awesome. This is, I mean, and I think especially at the beginning, it's hard, especially when you change from always saying what's missing to what's there and starting the grateful. I mean, for me, sometimes I also have days where I just slip back into my old habit. But that's normal because it's a new muscle that I'm training here. So I need a lot of patience with me as well and saying, yep, it's new. And that old street I was going that same old path like a million times in life. So my head wants to take that shortcut. It's because it's a lot more work to train a new muscle than to just use the one that you already have. It's like
the problem is the one that you already have is complaining. And complaining is part of our society. We learn how to complain and we master it. We are the best ever in complaining. And it became an habit. So it's so impressive how we complain all the time. And switch from complaining to be grateful, it required a lot of energy, a lot of effort. Because if I complain with you about my situation, probably you will be a bit more empathic, a bit more understanding, or you come close and you help me, and I feel a bit more connected with you.
yeah.
It's not always easy to show happiness in life because not everybody is happy for you, for your success. There is a very amazing interview. I think that it was Jordan Peterson, the psychologist, US American psychologist, and I said, be careful with your friends, because a real friend is not just a person who come and help you in your moment of struggle, but is also the person who celebrate with you during your success.
Yes, and I think this is quite a big thing. It's also when you start that path of switching from your mindset in that sense, there will be resistance from the outside. I think this is something that is just part of it. Also, I would say in the German culture, for example, complaining is a way of really connecting to each other. So when we want to actually connect, that's what we very often do. We just say, you know what, the German train, Deutsche Bahn, sucks, it's always late, and and then like the other one says, yeah, sure, and that's how it's, and like last week, half an hour I was standing there, and and that's how it all starts, right? But when you say, you know what, wow, that's so cool that we actually have a train and that it's just half an hour late, people will be like, from which planet are you? I mean, when I was in Chile, like sometimes, like there were buses and they didn't even have a schedule. Sometimes they didn't even have a stop. You were like, okay, where are they? Do they come at some point? And sometimes you were waiting for hours and you were like, maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't. Let's see. But yeah, it's perspective, right?
It's very easy to end up with the complaining attitude. I was the same as you. When was it, like January or something like this? I couldn't use my car for 1 month, I think, and so I had to use public transportations all the time. And I noticed that here it was a mess with the timing. Sometimes arrived, sometimes no, sometimes 5 minutes later, sometimes 10, 15. So at the beginning, I was complaining all the time. I need to admit, this bus driver, how is it possible? How can I organize my day in this way? It's so easy. And at the end, at the end, maybe a bit before, I hope. I just organized the time that I went there with the time that was scheduled, the bus, and used the free time to read or to do something or to enjoy the sun or to, and whatever happened. And I discovered that actually we restart to live when we stop thinking about all the stuff that doesn't work and we start to think about what is working.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what just came up for me as well? I think also with that, like complaining, I think we also have to be careful because I think sometimes complaining actually can be also a source of happiness in a certain way. Because when we actually understand why we are complaining, there can be a need in behind, right? Probably also with your bus drive, you complain because you really value flexibility and you really value having your car right at hand and just being able to drive it. So knowing that can also again open the path, I think, to happiness, to say, yeah, that's maybe that's important for me. And if I want to accommodate myself and just be kind with my needs, yeah, maybe then I rent a car next time. I don't know. Like, I'm just making that up, right?
It can be. It can be.
It can be.
I just think that we can reach this point of self-awareness without questioning ourselves, without giving some time to ourselves and trying to understand what's going on inside.
Yeah.
And this one, what helped me a lot, it was meditation, for example. Meditate each day helped me a lot to focus on myself, on my needs. And also journaling. I undervalued a lot journaling, but helped me to put all on a paper, my thought, my worries, my dreams, my ideas. And this one, from unconscious to conscious, it was the connection between the two.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I mean, for me also meditation is essential. I really love meditation because of that. And also when you say journaling, yeah, I also do like a mind dump every day in order to see what's really going on. Because I also think only when you're aware what's truly going on and what your needs are, you can respond to them. Because also for me, and it still is a challenge, I think we're so focused on the outside, and let's say like the outside noises are so high that sometimes we do not really get to actually listen to our inside noises and to what is really going on. I mean, when thousands of people are screaming, you are not able to hear your own voice anymore.
Totally.
And I think that's what meditation does also for me, just turning up the volume of my inner voice.
Yeah. And how you can be more focused on your inner voice. What help you do during the meditation, and maybe turn off also the external noise.
I do a couple of different exercises. For example, what I very often do to make myself more aware, I sit down and really check what areas of my body are under tension, because usually my thoughts very often are reflected in body tension. So when I hold on to something, I already know, okay, my neck and my shoulders are hurting. And actually in the meditation, I just place the focus there and I really ask that area, so what do you want to tell me? Shoulders or neck or whatever. And actually I start to see images, I start to see thoughts, feelings, but I don't get into them. I just observe them. I just really let them flow. And for me, that already helps me first to understand what's going on right now with me. And second, to release the tension as well. This is for me a very helpful tool. What is it for you? I mean, what do you do?
I like to do a breathing technique. I don't remember the name, but it's just like keeping my hands in front of my heart.
Yeah.
And inhale for 3 to 5 seconds. Keep the breath for 3-5 seconds. Exhale for 3-5 seconds. And then keep empty for 3-5 seconds. And repeat for 3, 5, 6, 7 times. It takes 1 minute, 2 minutes. It's very easy, but helped me to reconnect to myself. Also, the hand in front of my heart, it helped me to focus on a position that is not my head.
Yeah.
And this one helped me a lot when I'm alone. And when I'm in public, I like a lot to still focus on my breath and just focus on my belly. Just
okay.
the movement of my belly.
Okay.
And try to focus to, yes, when I inhale, to make it as bigger as I can, and then empty it.
Okay. When I'm actually in public, I do walking meditation.
Oh yeah, lovely.
So what I usually do is that I count my breath. So 4 steps inhale, 4 steps exhale, 4 steps inhale. Nobody sees it, but sometimes also like when I walk together like outside with my husband, sometimes they're like, why aren't you saying anything? I'm meditating. Like, I mean, people don't see it, but
yeah,
it's a really quick way to make you more aware. It's beautiful. We should do another episode about meditation.
yes. I'm sure
There's
that
so many
more
awesome
than,
techniques. I mean,
if somebody wants to know a bit more about meditation, why not? Just text.
Yeah, it would be good.
I will be very happy. And
Yes.
also, meditation helped me a lot. It happened one time, I think during November. I attended one class about mindfulness. And the teacher, my friend, during the explanation, she said, okay, now focus on your breath. Just focus on your inner peace. And if something came like a thought or whatever in your mind, just take a look, accept it without judging.
Yeah.
And meditation, I think that is very interesting because in the moment that you don't judge, you just can accept something and just let it go. It's fine. Just
It is.
like clothes.
And I think there's also in letting go there's so much more in letting go. Because I think also when you let go, you discover yourself truly. But this is really, I think this is almost for another episode, like to talk about meditation and how to discover yourself through that. I think this is quite a big one, I think. Yeah. But yeah, what do you want to say?
Yes, I want to say, because it's really a long episode, very interesting. We are very into it because we talk about struggles. We talk about what gave us pain, like external or internal. What is happiness? Yes, also in a certain way, like it's expressing ourselves. But I wanted to ask you, in the moment that we are so deep in the struggling moment, what can help? What can help us?
What can help us? I think first accepting the struggle, opening up to it, because resisting to it, just as we said, is just making it longer, letting it go on. And then focus on self-love, self-care, and self-acceptance. I think that were also the points that we covered now. And then like moving into a mixture of gratefulness, gratitude practice, meditation, I think this is like the quickest way, and really just making ourselves aware that happiness is coming from the inside. It's something that we generate. So that also means, and that's really something very good, because it means it's in our own hands. Because I mean, everything as such that is around us is just neutral. We just give it meaning. So we can also choose to say, okay, how do we see a struggle? Do we see it as an opportunity to grow, or do we see it as a threat? How do we, and that will also, yeah, I mean, that will determine what we feel. And I think this is also something very important, that we have the power over happiness inside us. And this,
Yeah, I feel the same. In fact, something that I want to add, it's transform the struggle in good habits. Like make it like practical. How you said, like create a routine, meditate, journaling, doing the bed, I don't know, eat well, work out, go out, work out, for example. Motions create emotions, they say. So
yeah,
it's very important, is stopping watching for hours Netflix, stopping drinking alcohol that give a lot of bad emotions. So I think that it's very important to create healthy habits, and something that
yeah,
is, how you said, in our hands, that we can control, because there are
yes,
all habits that we can do something daily. We can like start working out now. We can start eating healthy now. We can start to meditate now. And it's very
yes,
important to feel that we are in control of our life. It's very important in this,
yeah,
because in these moments often we think that it's is the society, is the job that is very bad, it's the partner that left us. It's we blame everybody. We blame everybody, and it's very negative. And in the moment that we take responsibility of our life with small little actions, we start to improve step by step.
yeah, I totally agree. I think also, and in the beginning, it will be hard. I mean, honestly, I also, sometimes I binge watch Netflix. I do that, but I also, in the moment when I decide to change that, sometimes it costs me a lot of energy, to be honest. It's like, come on, it's just easier to just turn on the TV or whatever, because it's just, yeah, at the beginning, it will cost more energy to say I go to the gym instead of watching Netflix. But I think also what helps me a lot at this time, and then I say to myself, you know what, you don't need motivation. Motivation comes when you do it.
Yeah.
And so that's how I also trick myself into changes. I just accept, okay, maybe I won't be up for exercise right now. I will still do it, because afterwards I will feel awesome, and I will like visualize that. I will like really think about that in all colors, how I will feel after exercising, and how I will feel after Netflix. I will just feel crap. I mean, come
It
on,
helps a
like,
lot. It helps a lot. Also because you touch a very important point. Our emotions are created from our position, body. So if I stay like just curve, it's very hard to laugh and be happy. It's much more like confidence. We have this position very open. Then from our inner voice and what we say to ourselves, it impacts a lot our emotions. If I say that I am a piece of shit, probably my emotion will not be very positive. And the third one is visualization. And
yeah.
if I picture the gym like a nightmare, like a castle with ghosts and with a monster, probably I will like try to avoid it as much as I can. And so these three aspects are very important. And you
Yeah.
just said like I picture in my mind Netflix in one way and gym in another way, one is positive and the other one is negative, it's easier to go to the positive one.
Yes, indeed it is, absolutely. Alessandro, you know what?
Next episode, next
Next
week.
episode, yes.
And the next episode will be very related to this one because we often know how to help us, but don't know how to help somebody else. So the next episode will be how to help somebody who is struggling.
Thank you so much, Alessandro.
And thank you, everybody. Subscribe to see and to have new episode each week and to say it.